This is exactly what I'm going to do. Let me start right here.
Looking to build your dream home or renovate your space? M&M Construction is the perfect place. We bring your vision to life with precision and quality craftsmanship. From design to construction, we guide you every step, ensuring seamless coordination and superior results. Our professional roof inspection and maintenance services will ensure that your roof is sturdy this hurricane season. So, if you are ready to start your construction journey, call us today at 345 927 7509. Build with confidence. Build with M&M Construction. 345 927 7509.
Fabulous, Mikey G. Fabulous. Friday.
I'm happy a lot of us. I'm happy that a lot of us had the privilege of being in school and, of course, knowing the words that match the days. Fabulous, fantastic, And, I could challenge you to find words, good F words that describe Friday. I did does describe the word Friday, and Coralie is good at that. She's always finding fabulous, fantastic. What other word can you think about? Flamboyant.
Yes. Awesome.
I'm going to be settling with Fabulous Friday and keeping it right there. I'm not going to be saying anything else. Just Fabulous Friday, and that's what it's going to be. I am not going to be able to do so many words. I think my brain is fried over this week.
B.
Fried on Friday. Fried on
My brain is
Friday.
fried on Friday. That's a new word.
That's a quick one, Lady Elise. But you did use a caveat. It has to be positive. I'm not so sure fried qualifies. I'm
Fried? No,
just
no, 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 no. Is that fried on 25? It's just on Friday. That's it.
no.
Just
I
on
would beg
Friday.
to differ.
Yes. You know,
Yeah.
we I mean, today is a great day because, here we are, finished the entire week, and we are now at the end of it. I always ask the question, when does the weekend begin? You know,
You always have a challenge, and even now, all this time, Mikey
when does
G,
it begin?
even
Because
now,
is it in the
even
morning?
now,
Because it can't be in the evening because it's so short. At the end of Friday is Saturday, and then Sunday, and then Monday back to work.
things have not changed forever and a day. The weekend still is not from the morning in Friday, so you still have to be at work this morning, and you still have to wait until the afternoon. And so I don't want you to get your signals all crossed and mixed up.
Well, here I
And
am.
it's too early in the year for that.
Mm, I'm sitting. I'm thinking that I need to just, make myself, unwind a little bit more before I start Friday. Like I have to start from Thursday and then ease into Friday a little
Yeah,
bit.
I think, just to balance it a little bit, Lady Elise and Mikey G, I think though the day is the day, the mindset is where the challenge comes in. So a lot of us may recognize that we still have to be on the job, but the anticipation starts. It could be from Thursday afternoon, but definitely Friday morning where you start thinking, "Whoa, I'm winding down. I am preparing to just relax." So
Preparing for
maybe
relaxation. I
there
get it.
is some way of sneaking in. the mindset, and how it settles in preparing for the end of the day. I don't know.
I, 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 I think today, more than any other time, is when many persons look forward for it to come for different reasons. Some people is for their wages. Another set of
Mm-hmm.
persons it might be for family time. Another set of person might just be for a time to get away to the country and to just go for a road trip, or you can go fishing, go skiing, go boating, go riding, go. It's like everybody have a different flying a kite.
I'm waiting, Mikey G, because what you don't, and one of the more unique things for those of us in the Cayman Islands to recognize about Friday, and it is usually that night that you'll get extra time to open certain establishments later than the norm. So where there's a
Oh,
cutoff time during the week and every other day, if you're attending certain functions on Friday, and it, people look forward to go to a particular place. I must say, they look forward to go to a particular place on Friday evenings,
Yes.
and we
oh,
we we did celebrate Bartender Day some months
The
ago,
the the
right?
the, 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 the therapist in the bar.
Yes. So they find their therapy, yes, because
you know,
what's the word that they use? What is it, CoraleeKaren and Mikey G, for Friday evenings?
isn't
it's
it
it's
happy
it,
hour?
oh, you
A
mean happy
happy hour.
happy
Yes.
hour? Yeah,
CoraleeKaren,
yeah. You
how do
have
you
never
know
been to
this?
any happy hour, Lady Elise.
Because some people start from Thursday.
Some people start happy hour from Thursday. In fact, when they come to work on Monday, you can smell how happy they are.
Well, happy
Well,
hour.
yeah, some persons didn't make it in on Monday because two things are happening. They're either fender bending, a light post or a tree walked out in the road or
Oh my
something.
goodness.
None of that. I'll share a message that got shared to me about New Year's message for 2025. Due to the rising cost of medical tests, all you can do is pee under a tree and wait for a bit. If ants gather, you've got diabetes. If the grass dries up, it's high sauce. If it smells like barbecue, your cholesterol is high. If you forgot to pull up your pants, you've got Alzheimer's. Really? No.
that
um,
that makes the one for 2025. That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, I have looked across a
oh,
few. It's a,
okay. It won't,
Yeah.
well,
it
in case,
won't
hold on, hold on,
use
hold on, hold
doing
on,
that
hold on.
because they're going to
That's
avoid.
that's what that I assume is for the men.
And I was about to object because the men don't want to know their status.
I-
So
could
they
we
are,
could we say that the current?
yes.
You're about to object.
Yes, I'm saying that if the men would not be sticking around to know the results of that, they're going to do their business and move on. So
Well, I want to
it
go. I was
won't
going to say
change. It won't change the fact that they prefer not to know.
I was going to
So
say that's so sexist.
uh, no, that's reality. That's what happens.
Men don't do that though, right? Men don't say, "Oh, that's so sexist." Men don't do that. I don't know if any
You
man say
just
that.
said that.
No, no, I'm saying I could say that's so sexist. But it is that becoming. For me, I can't hear myself saying it.
And I'll tell you why. Because it's a description. So usually it is the pronouncements that are levied, addressed to the women, and they, in response, identify what just took place.
Yeah,
So you're correct.
sexism. That's
Very correct.
sexism. Here's a new word: sexism, like exorcism.
All right. While you're forming new words this morning, just want to share with you a bit of what's happening in the Cayman Islands in Georgetown. And I know our road report is a little, um, is it late? No, not too late.
I,
But
I,
of
I, I,
course,
before you share, I want to do a song for today. We want to look at the family and how we treat each other today.
yes,
And I want to play a song just dealing with the family and how we should treat each other. You know?
yes.
So I'm going to play that when we come back. We're going to talk about what's happening and look at a few other things as well. We take it one step further.
It's a noble institution, a gift from God to man, a reflection of his fellowship with all of his creation. An intimate encounter with loved ones and foes, still a source for comfort, but most of all for love. It's the origin of innocence, the birthplace of trust, a sanctuary from the cruel and unjust. An inevitable union of different generations, brought to meet each other through the miracle of life. We believe in the family. We believe in the family. Let's find a place where we all turn, consecrate our lives to the morning and evening sacrifice. We are bound together like a family. The cords of love will strengthen through our unity. By the grace of the Father, the Spirit, and the Son, we believe in the family. Yeah, oh yeah. We are offspring of Abraham by spiritual adoption. We were separated from the fold by our transgression. But the Father in heaven has given us His Son, and through His brotherhood we are redeemed. Oh, it's a privilege to be a part of God's family. And with all our hearts, we want the world to share with us this joy.
family, yes. There's a special feature I want to play for someone this morning, for you this morning, that deals with the family, and of course, just look at how we treat each other, as people. This morning it's a very one. But anyways, let's get into what's happening today.
Well, I was sharing actually before we play that song, and actually after you played the song, it brought me to thinking so much about the family and how it has evolved and changed over the years.
Yes.
And I remember when we were doing civics or social studies,
Mm-hmm.
and we learned the different type of family, right? I just give you this experience. So we're talking about the nuclear family, the extended family, and at the time it was called when persons were married, the common law. And of course, I came home to my father back in the day and was telling him about it, and um, he he was like, no, because he considered that living together or without a formal relationship, he would say it was shacking up. And I'm looking now, and he was so shocked that I brought home that new information regarding what the family is. That was some years ago. And I wonder what he would think now.
I was about to ask you the same question. What do you think your father would think now about the number and numerous design of the family that now is existing?
Yes, and I believe we need to have a feature, Mikey G, and perhaps we could do it on a Friday, speaking about the family and how that dynamic has changed and
Significantly.
the implication
Significantly.
of the change significantly. So he was shocked. Eh, he expressed shock at that time because, as far as he knew, when he was, or based on his knowledge, he never knew of the common law union as that sort of established.
So if I may weigh in on that, Lady Elise,
Yes.
It came about. It had its legal representation or status because of a case, actually.
Yes, I remember. Yes.
And
was it the Lasco case?
It was. Yes, it was. And again, just to give our listeners, viewers context, where the common law relationship existed for 36 years.
Yes.
And after such a time, the gentleman decided that he needed a 36-year-old as his formal spouse.
Right.
So he proceeded to evict the relationship that existed for 36 years, replacing it with a 36-year-old individual, and formalized that relationship. As a result, the female clearly required some sort of redress, and it went all the way to the Privy Council. And as a result, coming out of that, after 5 years of shacking up, I'm assuming that up until then, that's what it is labeled, you are now formally in a relationship. And as a result, the woman usually is now given just due as if the relationship was formalized.
So the punishment for getting married.
Don't call it punishment, Mikey G.
Well, let me finish. The punishment. What was the punishment for the man? Let me hear that part.
Don't call it punishment.
All right. What was it? What was the result of it? Tell me the result of it.
No, well, it became about the woman who was cast aside, was given share as if she were the wife. So there was no a discussion
Well,
about separation of assets because in his mind he figured that all he needed to do was to show her the door, and that would have been it. And
well,
what
I
she
would,
was awarded, she was awarded some I wouldn't say compensation, I would more say acknowledgement for all the contribution that she would have made to
I,
the business,
I would
to
say,
acquiring all of these assets. And so the law stepped in and protected her.
I believe that it is fear, and I will not even say how fear that is, because I'm sure that after how many years, 30 what?
36
36.
years.
36 years, she must have made some significant contribution. If he's even sleeping at night and making sure that his head rests well, that we could have actually achieved this business and of course become this set of this person. And at 36 years after getting kicked out, that is for me it is I
Unjust.
stand strong. I stand strong on a lot of issues. But when it comes down to family, I stand stronger on it. There are some
Yeah.
things that you should not be disenfranchised from, by, or why, or in. Can't.
Well,
If,
and that leads me to the initial conversation. I mentioned that the current.
I want to finish this. I want to just, let me finish this. The provision that is made within for the family must remain for the family. It can't be disenfranchised for somebody else because you suddenly just get a felt feeling and just get somebody else in the picture. There's a bigger part to that than the 36, the fact that they were common law, the whole of that. Lady Elise, sorry about that.
No, eh, and well, what was I going to say before? I said we need to have on Fridays maybe something we can speak about after as it relates to family and different aspects, because one of the certain things that comes to my mind is the prenuptial arrangement and marriage also as a contract. I was watching a series recently, and two individuals were discussing marriage. One got married for love, and the other had a little issue that they're working through as it relates to their status. And this was a physician on this show, and she was from Africa, but she said she needed to get married. And then her friend said, are you in love? And she thought about it. She said, you know, marriage is just a contract anyway. You would share the expenses, share this, share that. So what does it matter? What does love
Has to do with it.
So she was like, it's a contract anyway.
Yes.
But
Love,
certainly,
I don't think love have a lot to do with a lot of things anymore.
Oh, no.
Go ahead, Lady Elise. You're
I'm
saying.
still, I'm still
You
a
were saying, Lady
romantic.
Elise. Keep going. Keep going.
but it is hard. It is tough after, and certainly when I made an argument with my father then, because I always like to see all sides of the story, and he was not having it, CoraleeKaren. He was not having it, and I asked him the question, what's the difference? I mean, the Rastafarian would say, take a woman and call her my own. It's
Call her
my
my
wife.
queen. Make her my queen.
It's my queen. And so, for the government to make that law at the time, I could see the perspective, because in essence,
Well,
they would have made a commitment between themselves. The difference is it would not have been written, or it would not have perhaps been witnessed, or maybe
Formalized. I would say witness because everybody would have seen them coming in and going out. So
well, how many more witnesses you want when you have 3, 4 kids already?
there you go.
You know what? I think this conversation is so
It's
interesting.
broad. It's very broad and deep. It has so many facets.
Ah,
I agree.
I'm
You know,
telling you,
how
I'm
many,
thinking
how
about
many,
it.
how
I'm
many
like,
witnesses you'd want after having 4 kids? You
wow.
know,
Well,
what you
no.
need for witnesses? Huh? Tell me.
Well, now look at it now. Look at it now. How the family has changed and what we consider. Um,
Well, here
and
is
so, but before you say, CoraleeKaren, let's be deliberate for next Friday. We're gonna do
Research.
um our research and we're going to focus in. And of course, Mikey G, you're going to play that song to begin and close that section about what we believe the family is, what the biblical perspective, and what the world, what the family has changed. And we could perhaps zero in on one aspect because as we just this discussion alone, we see all how it could segue
Wide.
into so many different
different
aspects.
aspect.
So next week Friday, we're gonna have an interesting conversation, CoraleeKaren.
And I think we could always include our listeners and our viewers as well. It's our homework. It's
It's
the
our
team's
homework,
homework and
and
invite persons to weigh in to share whatever information they would have gathered. So again, we're here just to stimulate the thoughts. And so if you are so inclined and again would like to participate, we welcome the inclusion. We're very inclusive here. And so it's a homework for all of us because at the end of the day, the more person do their research is the more informed we all will be so that we can be better able to appreciate where we are and how to understand and grasp the subject matter.
You know, when I remember going to school and there was this you mentioned it a while ago, civics.
yes, that's not the one thing anymore,
The
Mikey
removal
G.
of civics has given rise.
To
what? I'm listening.
I think next week actually we should share that.
Yes, please, please. Hold it, hold it, hold it.
I think we should
Hold
share that
it.
next week.
Hold it.
Civics. And what the demise of it, what the extraction or the taking away from the society.
Well, what we could do, thank
Yes.
you for saying, we
What
can
it did.
actually
Did.
ask questions to different individuals and probably record it in the audio or video. What do you
It
say?
doesn't matter which way we do it. I think it could be a
Yeah.
very valuable piece of information that we could utilize for our next discussion on this topic. Because
Wonderful.
it is very interesting and important that we actually, understand these things, see how we have changed things. I tell people all the time, words have meaning. And everybody, for some unknown reason, hear that and knows it's true. But changing the word, it means you have changed the meaning.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
So what we have done is, when I say change the word,
Yes.
it's not changing the word, but taking away the word that was in place in a sentence and substitute it for another word. So I use that as changing the word. Like, for example, the love of Christ constrains us. The love of Christ compels us. You tell me if it's the same thing you're listening to.
And just for context, as Coralie would put it, that is the motto of the Adventist youth. So the love of Christ constrains us.
Yes.
Is what we used to say,
Yes.
and now it says the love of Christ compels us.
Yes.
And indeed, it does have a different meaning in my point of view,
Not in
my
point of view alone, but
interpretation.
if you listen to it,
Yes,
then what does the word constrain mean?
to hold back,
And then what does the word compel mean?
force, to move, to force.
Right? And so you would want to say you're changing the word because it might meet a better qualifying need based on the sounding of it. Sounds
Yes.
good. But then what was the intention of the persons who actually came up with that motto? What were they thinking?
Yes.
It's like saying, what's the Constitution saying about marriage?
Yeah.
And somebody says, marriage is not necessarily between a man and a woman.
That's where we are.
Just by changing something, we have destroyed the very institution of why it was created.
That's so true. And see, you have come up with another right there, another point. Another point of our discussion. You brought that up, and that's like another whole different kind of worms.
Yes.
But I see the time is moving, and we have not yet shared the news.
So I think we should go to the news, and then when we come back, we can actually, deal with a few of these other things that we'd love to talk about, and of course to set up for the new conversations that we can have. Next week is not, it is not, for some persons, it's trivial for them. But so for the persons who really understand, it's deep rooted and centered.
Absolutely.
And it's necessary for us to maintain our core and continue to bring these messages. Sometimes people say it's a bit repetitive, but I know one thing: impression, repetitive. Wait, that says
repetition, deepens
impressions.
Yes.
And when somebody hears it, I have listened to many persons say, Mikey G, you talk about this thing, you talk about that thing.
Yes, non-stop.
But here's the thing. The only reason I'm talking about it because I realize that most people don't want to talk about it. So everybody want me to talk about the thing that everybody's talking about. No. I want to talk about what nobody's talking about, and I'm going to talk about that. So let's do it then. All right, time for the news. Of course, news is brought to us by Asai Ultrasound for all your ultrasound needs right here in the Grand Cayman Islands, and of course, the rest of the world.
When you need ultrasound that's safe and effective, you must visit Asai Ultrasound Imaging. They're conveniently located at number 4, Chestnut Center, Smith Road, Georgetown, Cayman Islands. With experienced technologists with over 20 years experience, their friendly staff will make you comfortable while you get your procedure done. Asai Ultrasound Imaging is open Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Call Asai Ultrasound Imaging 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426. That's 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426.
It is Friday, January 10th, and these are the Flashpoint News headlines. I am CoraleeKaren. Jewelry from New Year's Eve burglary still missing. Police are searching for a large quantity of jewelry stolen during a burglary on New Year's Eve at a commercial property on Main Street in Georgetown. Two perpetrators broke display cases and stole the contents around 1:30 a.m. on December 31st. Despite a 40-year-old West Bay man being arrested on Monday in connection to the crime, none of the high-value items have been recovered. The Royal Cayman Islands Police Service is urging anyone with information about the incident or the jewelry's whereabouts to contact the Georgetown Police Station at 949-4222 or the confidential tip line at 949-7777. They remind the public that knowingly handling stolen goods is a serious crime punishable by up to 14 years in prison. Convicted football official claims conflict of interest in money laundering case. Canova Watson, a former banker and football administrator convicted of fraud and money laundering, has filed a complaint alleging a conflict of interest from prosecutors in his case. Watson argues that his prosecution was influenced by the Cayman Islands' efforts to remove itself from the Financial Action Task Force's anti-money laundering grey list. Prosecutors have denied these claims, and previous appeals found no evidence of a conflict. Watson is currently serving 7 years for his role in a scheme involving US $1.54 million in fraudulent payments linked to CONCACAF. Electronic Justice Revolution for Cayman Courts. Cayman's courts are getting a high-tech overhaul. Speaking at the Grand Court opening on Wednesday, Chief Justice Margaret Ramsey Hale outlined plans for automation and modernization. New initiatives include electronic signing systems, automated jury selection, and digital courtroom recording with AI-powered transcription. Ramsey Hale also announced improvements in payment processing and witness anonymity technology. While acknowledging setbacks with a poorly managed court website transition, she promised better features and enhanced accessibility in the rebuild. South Sound developer meets objections over apartment complex. Cal Thompson, a developer and longtime South Sound resident, faced objectors to his $12 million apartment complex proposal at a Central Planning Authority meeting this week. Concerns over traffic, safety, and the area's character were raised by local residents. Thompson defended the project, citing South Sound's mixed-use history and existing commercial properties. The proposed complex includes 34 apartments, a pool, a cabana on South Church Street near the Jackson Point fuel depot. Graham Bellows, a space for artistic connection and collaboration. Northside's Graham Bellows is fostering artistic exploration and community dialogue. Spearheaded by artist and curator Carrie Ann Chisholm, the space hosts exhibitions, workshops, and events promoting cultural connections. Past projects include a commendation-winning installation at the National Gallery Biennial and an exhibition featuring Caymanian and Jamaican artists. Chisholm says Graham Bellows is a stage for possibilities, bringing people together to share their experiences. Olympians give back to aspiring athletes. Caymanian Olympians Ronald Forbes and Jordan Crooks inspired 7 young athletes at a private dinner this week. Forbes, a three-time Olympian, emphasized the importance of mentorship, saying, quote, "It's critical to share what I learned late in my career with young athletes early," end quote. The aspiring athletes expressed gratitude for the advice and tips, with track and field star Delora Johnson calling the experience an amazing opportunity. In regional update, Antigua's health minister addresses concerns over HMPV reports. Antigua's Minister of Health, Maureen Joseph, has addressed public concerns regarding a reported virus outbreak, assuring citizens there is no imminent pandemic threat. Speaking during Wednesday's cabinet meeting, he emphasized that the World Health Organization has dismissed rumors of any new viral threat, with recent HMPV cases being consistent with typical seasonal trends. Human metapneumovirus is a long-known respiratory virus similar to RSV, with symptoms often mild and recovery expected within 2 to 5 days. However, the elderly and those with underlying health conditions face higher risks. While vaccine development is underway, current treatment focuses on supportive care. Caribbean countries prepare for 2025 elections. The Caribbean region is gearing up for a super year of politics as several countries prepare for general elections in 2025. Governments face the challenge of maintaining public trust amid economic recovery post-COVID-19, increased gun violence, and climate change effects. Here is a summary of upcoming elections. Antigua, Premier Dr. Ellis Webster Anguilla Progressive Movement is set to launch its campaign in January, though an election date remains unconfirmed. Belize Prime Minister John Bracino has yet to announce a date as the country deals with internal divisions in the opposition. Bermuda, elections are scheduled for February 18 following Premier David Bert's announcement. Curacao, parliamentary elections will be held on March 21, 2025, with candidate lists finalized by February 7. Guyana, speculation suggests November 2025, with official confirmation pending. Jamaica, no date has been set, but the ruling JLP aims for a third consecutive term. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the United Labour Party seeks a historic sixth term in elections expected by the end of 2025. Suriname, scheduled for May 25, 2025, with new electoral laws ensuring proportional representation. Trinidad and Tobago, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley stepping down, the election date remains unconfirmed. Turks and Caicos Islands, elections will take place on February 7th, marking the first 5-year parliamentary term. And for the Cayman Islands, general election is scheduled for 30th April 2025. These elections will shape the region's political landscape and attract significant regional attention. Those were your news headlines on Flashpoint Radio. Continue to stay tuned for updates throughout the day. You're saying, Lady Elise, that this year seems to be, especially for the Caribbean,
Yes.
very active political year. And I thought it was interesting that it will shape the Caribbean and certainly the governance,
Yes.
So is it that the existing will remain? Is there going to be a change? And how will that affect the dialogue within the community? Interesting. I note that some persons have not yet decided, but others have. And as we are seeing and experiencing, the Cayman Islands is no different. And so you see the election engineering, the machinery, everything is in motion. And so persons are on the ground making sure that they're doing what they need to do to get the votes that are needed.
What I know for sure is that we are not going to see any coalition government anytime soon.
You're predicting that?
I don't think I'm going to repeat that. No. I mean, I'm not a political science analyst or anything like that. I'm just a regular guy who watch people do things. and I would say, if it were me, I would not do that again.
Okay. Because right, in politics, reality is skewed.
Yes.
Again, from observations. You will see things not going how it ought to, but yet still it continues.
We can't have 5, 10 leaders.
Yeah.
Leading. We can't have 10 people, independent leaders.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't matter who we are. When I walk in a room, I will say to somebody, what's the schedule? What's going on? I remember going somewhere and they were doing some stuff, and I went there, and I knew that I actually had skills that some of those persons never had.
Mm-hmm.
I was capable of doing much more than what some of those persons were capable of doing. However, some I said, I didn't say all. Some.
Okay.
When I went there, I don't know what they are or what that, but I knew that I was there just to participate in helping to get what is supposed to be done.
Right.
So I asked, put me to work, tell me what you want me to do, and let me do that.
Mm-hmm.
If you see where I am capable then of heading up a team and then get more done just as a team leader than as an individual worker, then you'd see my value and then place me in that position.
Sounds good, Mikey G.
Right?
Sounds very logical. That's not politics.
That's not politics.
No, what can I say? I was having a conversation with my mom recently, and
Yes.
one of the things we expressed is that we have the leaders and then we have the opposition.
Yes.
And the purpose of the opposition is to oppose. So
Yes.
no matter no matter what, that's and the cycle goes on. So your job simply, your job as opposition
Is to
oppose, right? So and that's
object.
object. I object.
I found politics to be such an interesting animal.
Yes.
I didn't know. So when you look at how intense the campaign is, and the sort of the assault and the mudslinging that goes on.
Yes.
And I was like, when you look at it, it's terrifying. And then somebody said to me, don't be dismayed, because those same people, when it's all over, they're going to be congregating at somebody's house and they're going to all have drinks and so on and so forth. So don't be fooled by the functioning of it, because the reality of it is that these people are all friends for the most part.
Well,
No.
They have to give
friend.
Yes.
Here's where I'm landing it. The mass, like myself, seeing the antagonism and is thinking that they're going to jump on board and they're going to now become aggressive towards each other, and if there's going to be fractions or factions. So you're going to be divided by based on color, based on who you vote, not policies,
Not
not
policies,
policies,
not policies.
because all they're interested in is the votes. There's nobody who is going to stand up and say, "This is what I'm going to do." This is
Well,
But all they need to do is galvanize the people who are going to come out and vote. And then after that, they'll do whatever it is to get that energy going. But after that, they have moved on from us and they've gone up to their higher seats because they're elevated. And the mass of us sit down and we're thinking, what just happened a while ago? What did I just do?
yeah, well,
And then you have 4 years or 5 years of sitting down and wondering, what did I just do? You know?
what we need to do is to get a few residents from some of the communities that are represented by some of the representatives to come on Flashpoint and just tell what it is that they think could have been more, or if their representative has been doing well. So we probably should just sort of like itemize each area and then get a few persons to have this conversation and then see where we go from there. How you have benefited from it. Because I know of people who have gotten, well, not in the Cayman Islands election. It don't happen in Cayman. I have not seen it. I got a whole bunch of chicken to vote, right? So, so I know how these things can be, right? So, it has been a thing. So I think we could look at, well, I could say bring back, I could say bring back Mr. Eden.
You are going to call names, Mikey G?
No, I'm calling a name. I am going to call on him. I would say bring back Mr. Eden. Mr. Eden stand up against some stuff because he didn't believe as a politician and as a man of God and his position as a person would not be able to allow himself to go to. I said bring back Mr. Because he did, you know what he did? Before he continued and signed off on something that he had, his conscience was bothered by it, he resigned.
Well, then he's not going to come back then, Michael. The ilk of those persons is not fit for politics because in some instance you have to go against your conscience.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Well, let me tread softly here because it would then infer that every politician will have a conscience, the moral compass removed. And so
you open a.
So don't walk away from that conversation.
Don't walk backwards yet. Don't walk backwards. You didn't step into much more. Don't worry. The shoes is not messed up yet. Don't worry. Because in reality, everybody, have their own. My mother would say everybody have their own axe to grind. And so that's how it works. But in the best effort of it, though, let's look at what each politician would bring to the table. All right. So. The Banton experience, John Seymour is at that end of the spectrum. And I believe that the Banton personnel are actually having a great time in that area. And I think they like him enough to repeat him several times. I could just use that as a template for myself. I don't know what he has done in terms of for them as a people. Because they know. Now, I would have to find out from them what he has done for them so they could keep repeating him all the time. Yeah. And they seem to love him. What I do know, he has done a lot of stuff that I have able to see. I'm going to speak for this one. I'm not saying he's the best politician. I'm not saying he's the top model politician, but I am saying this. If you go along the beach of when you go to Boddington, you see all those recreational centers and places being set up there for people to just have a better view. It was not like that before.
Mikey, I am not political, and so here's the thing. One of the things that I have resigned myself to is that politics have different views, and so depending on the perspective that you're looking at it from, it can.
So here lies my statement. I see that he has done these things. I see that he has made sure that the roads are being properly paved and all these things. But what else has he been doing? And the community that keeps voting for him
And then the question becomes, what of the other, maybe the other persons have had challenges in getting those things. What did he have to do to get that for his community? And the question then becomes, why aren't the other persons able to do the same? Is it that he has different resources, different contacts, different network,
But
and so it
I
then
could go to
opens up a lot of questions that
I could go to a Makiba bush. I could go to a Makiba bush.
Mikey, I am not calling a soul name
No, no, no.
because
I am going to call a name now. I'm going to say I could go to Makiba Bush as a politician. Makiba Bush have been serving the Cayman Islands government and the people of West Bay for maybe 40 years. I don't know. I mean, if I look at the statistical record right now, he's been in politics for as long as time immemorial, and he has been in the West Bay area as the chief. In fact, you call him the man for the people there. Now,
but then he's being challenged. So the question then becomes, if he's doing such a good job, is it just the machinery
no, I'm
that
not saying.
is being at play?
I'm not saying that he's doing a good job, you know. I'm not saying he's doing a good job. I am saying that the people keep choosing him.
But it must mean something why he's being chosen. And then the question is, why is he being challenged? Or is it that the challenge is just for the play, just so that there is somebody there?
Look, look,
I don't like
look.
politics.
You've never seen a
Politics
boxer
just
in a
always-
ring. You have never seen a boxer in the ring ever boxing themselves by themselves. Shadow boxing. They did that in the gym. They did that when they were by themselves. You have to have an opposition and a competition, somebody who is a challenger to come. But what my argument is this morning is, I'm not saying that the politicians, by virtue of whatever they're doing, is doing a good job. I am saying the people, for some reason, love the job they're doing.
And it could just be because they're charismatic. Somebody told me that Michael Manley wasn't all that good, but he was able to carry a crowd.
Voila. I'm going to beg to differ. Michael Manley was all that. Here's where I'm going. Here's where I'm going. Michael Manley was all that good. But he had some clothes. He had some. Well, this is what I'm saying. He had. No, let me go. But he had some people around him that had different ideologies, and that's what we talked about earlier. When we come to lead, you have people who are leading while they are following you. And so the Michael Manley thing, I say, Michael Manley is a charismatic person. In fact, at the era of when Michael Manley ended, was when the statesmen of politics basically came to an end. In my mind. Because I've watched it afterwards. Of course, we have new politicians, younger versions, and of course, but to me, Michael Manley brought some things to the table that Jamaica will benefit from for the length of time that will ever exist. If some of those things were actually, the part that says eat what you grow and grow what you eat.
Yeah.
That in itself was one of the most powerful things that was destroyed by politics that brought Jamaica to a place where we now have a situation, right? So,
Yeah.
and my parents would have voted on the opposite side of the fence at some point. Not for Michael Manley. Do you understand? You see? So, you can't judge me. I'm just somebody who analyzes politics, and I look at what I see people bring to the table. But at this time, I'm not saying who is doing what, and if you're a good person for the community or not. All I'm saying is, people are actually voting for you, and I understand that this is it. Now, a good thing to do is to find out what are some of those good things that the people experience within the communities.
Thank you so much. And on that note, I will be sharing my mandate for this year to be elected as the person who holds CoraleeKaren and Mikey G accountable. very vibrant discussion this morning on the breakfast hour. I hope you have enjoyed it. We have much more to come. And of course, we will be covering, getting as much information out there as is possible and sharing with the listeners and viewers here at Flashpoint. So I want to say thank you for tuning in this morning. It's time for us to, the clock is on the wall. Yes,
Yeah.
Clock
yes.
says it's time to get out of here.
It's time to get out of here. And just a reminder of the range of programs. We do have the open portal that comes up this afternoon, the Grand Revival Bible Study, or a time also to delve deep into the Word of God, also comes up on Flashpoint. And of course, Sensational Sunday this week. We have an amazing guest joining us. So you have to stick and stay. And of course, the breakfast hour. That is your staple every day. And you know what? Breakfast can be had any time of the day.
And it can
And
be
that's
any
why.
meal. Ackee and
Yes!
starfish, dumpling and banana.
Yes! Yes! So
Some
that's why
fried
it's on
dumplings.
YouTube, guys. If you miss us in the morning, catch us up. And of course, remember to share the link.
And don't forget the Sabbath experience on Saturday
Oh.
mornings as well, you know, for those persons as you prepare to go out to church, or for if whatever reason, if you're unable to, then the Sabbath experience is there to keep you motivated, keep you spiritually revived and refreshed on a Sabbath morning.
Well, thank you guys. There you have it. Have yourself a beautiful one. Of course, continue to enjoy Flashpoint. www.flashpointmedia.ky. Have yourself a great day.
Fabulous Friday, everyone.
It's like we're running in circles, going around every day, getting stuck in the hurdles of yesterday. Don't you wanna go further, away from the fray? Let's not get stuck in our worries, we'll make our way. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers bloom? Breathe in the air, look up to the moon. I'll meet you outside, away from the crowd. Just you and me together, we'll all sing better outside. Just us in the sky. I will go wherever, I'll be yours Are we part of this circus? Is it innate? Feels like a heavy burden, but I can't relate. Do our actions even matter? Or is this a fate? At least now I'm feeling better, I know I'm here to stay. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers bloom? Breathe in the air, look up to the moon. I'll meet you outside, away from